Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I watched Madonna's concert, and I thought it was neat. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Kevin with a mullet. Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
She was really rude to him. I feel really... That was shitty.
Oh, yeah. We've got to talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's on the list of things to talk about. We are dorking out about 1991's Truth or Dare, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary. I think we're doing 2 30 anniversaries in a row because next week we're going to do Thelma and Louise.
Woo!
I'm so excited for Thelma and Louise, but we're talking about Truth or Dare today. And I have to ask you first, did you see this in the theater?
Fuck yes, I did.
Yeah, me too.
I think it was at the Blackhawk Cinemas in Danville, which I used to love.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bougie out there in Blackhawk.
So bougie. I had a friend who managed that theater for a while, and he's so bougie that movie theaters kind of rely on teenagers to work there. But all the teenagers out there don't need jobs. So they'll work a day and then they're like, I quit. This is hard. I don't want to pick up stuff. He couldn't keep employees.
Wow.
Yeah. He said it was a reoccurring problem. But can you hear my dog? He loves Madonna.
I also have new neighbors upstairs, and there's a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old boy.
Cool.
Turns out they love running.
Yeah.
That made it sounded like I'm being trampled. I'm not.
That's super weird. 5-year-old and 8-year-old boys are usually really quiet.
I know. I shouldn't complain. It's been empty upstairs for well over a year because of the pandemic and stuff, but it was a shock the first few days. Now I'm used to it.
Yeah, the world is opening back up. We're all going to have to get used to people again.
Yeah, the annoying things that they do.
Totally. So you saw it at the Blackhawk Theater. I saw it at the Contra Costa Theater in Martinez.
Okay.
And I saw it many, many times. Many times. Because everyone was like, I'm going to go see that Madonna movie. You want to go? Yes. I would just go.
Were you a big fan? That's my question.
I really love Madonna's music, and I loved this movie. And I think it's just because I wanted to go to the concert, but it was pretty expensive, and I could not afford it. So this was kind of my only chance to see the show. So I watched it a lot, and I haven't watched it in a really long time. So this rewatch was the first time in a while. And I was curious how it held up for you.
I found her annoying when she first went on the scene because I was a little rock chick.
Yeah.
I was the one, when she toured with the Beastie Boys, I'm like, Mom, can I go to the Beastie Boys? I didn't care about Madonna.
See, to me, that was like a dream show, and I missed that one too. I was poor. I couldn't afford that shit.
Oh, I've always been really wealthy. Didn't know that?
I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that, everybody.
But no, she's there's certain bands and groups and singers. I put them in the law of the thirds. Mm-hmm. A third of what they do is fucking brilliant. No one can do it better. A third is just fine. It's just fine. And a third is utter fucking garbage. Only because they take risks or they just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And she's one of them. Some of her music drives me nuts, but some of her music is so goddamn good and it really holds up. Mm-hmm. And she's a great performer. She really puts I really wish I saw her on this tour now because it makes you want to see her live.
Yeah, I did see her live eventually for the music tour. Music makes the people. That one. And her shows are and you could see it in this movie. They're very choreographed, very staged, very theatrical, and they're fun to watch, but there's also absolutely no room for any kind of spontaneity.
Right.
That I super miss when I see shows like that. I like it when, I don't know, it feels like they're doing something special just for you. And I know that they probably aren't doing something special for you, but her shows never feel like that because they are so very by the book. it's all mapped out. You know exactly what you're going to get because she's done it this way every single night of this tour. It's weird that I feel that way, but it looks really, I really wish I had seen it. And I think that's what's my favorite part of the documentary is the concert stuff, actually.
Yeah, it holds up especially well. And it was, I like the way that they set it up. It's kind of the soft focus, black and white.
Yeah.
When it's just her or the dancers. And the dancers, that's a whole other thing we have to talk about. Because there's some like incredible stuff here.
Yeah.
But it hit me. Because I haven't seen this movie 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, long time ago. And so it's black and white when it's just her or her backstage with her movie star friends because she just made Dick Tracy. And she was dating Warren Beatty, who was 53.
We're going to talk about that.
Yep. And then when they go to the concert stage, it's just she's so I saw Madonna once on the street. And I didn't know who she was. She was walking in a building. I was leaving a building. She has the most beautiful eyes. That's the thing that got to me.
Yeah.
Like, that woman has such pretty eyes. And then I was like, oh, shit, that's Madonna. And she looks great here. This is her like arms are strong. I mean, she's just, sorry.
She's ripped. Like she's just, but not like overly ripped. Not like, ew, like not like that kind of ripped. Like she looks beautiful. This is like, if you haven't seen Truth or Dare, it's covering her 1990 Blonde Ambition tour. So it was like after Dick Tracy, after like Desperately Seeking Susan, all that stuff. And this is, Vogue was like her big hit off of this tour, so it's like that. She looks amazing. And it really shows the hard work that goes into a show like this. And there's documentaries like this all the time now. And there's like, there's like a Justin Bieber one. I haven't seen that because I'm not really into him. I recently watched the Katy Perry one.
Yep. Billie Eilish?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list.
It's good.
Okay. I am going to check it out. I think Ariana Grande has one too, but I haven't seen that one either. I do like concert documentaries though, so I probably will watch them. I think that I'm going to make sure I say this correctly. Because there was no social media there at the time, this was like our access to Madonna and seeing what she's quote unquote really like. We're not really seeing the real Madonna here, I don't think. Like maybe we're getting like little snips here and there, but it's still pretty much a big but now we see all of these celebrities, they all have Instagrams and they all have TikToks and they all have Facebook, and like they're putting themselves out there in a way that Madonna was doing before social media. So this movie was a big deal at the time because of that. Like we were going to see like unfiltered Madonna. She's going to swear and be naughty and fake masturbate and like all these things that she couldn't do on TV at the time. So it was a big deal. And I know we're going to talk about the dancers, but this is 1991. They were touring in 1990. Being gay was still not cool with like a lot of the world. And to put out a movie with like openly gay people and have them like making out and stuff was a really big deal.
It was pushing boundaries for people. One of the dancers she hired was a straight man.
Yeah.
And I remember he's like, I'm very uncomfortable. I saw two men kissing, and I'm very uncomfortable. Like, you're on tour with Madonna. What do you know what I mean?
You're a dancer.
Skinnerd or something, where you're never going to see any gay people.
Yeah.
I mean, you're with the woman who, and this is one thing to her tribute, is that she was always gay positive.
Yes.
And that was one of her things that she was unashamed about. She was loud about, to the point people are like, oh, shut up. Who cares? Like, this is why you have to care, because she made it, she normalized it.
Yeah. Yeah. The ones she had, I forget how many dancers she had, like 9 or 10 maybe. And one of them, Oliver, was the only straight male dancer in the group. And yeah, he was like, it was very uncomfortable for me. And he actually says at one point, like, they wanted to get me. Like they all want to fuck him or something. And it's like, ugh, get over yourself, Oliver. There's like 9 other male dancers there that they would probably rather get with than you. Like, it was just like a clueless thing to say. He's obviously very young too. He just doesn't know.
He's just a kid. I was watching before we went on the air. I was looking for the Julie Brown Medusa. It was like a Showtime mockumentary about this, but I couldn't find it. But I did find an interview with 3 of the dancers, and this was like 5 years ago for the 25th anniversary. And Oliver was one of them, and he was like, "Yeah, I was a homophobe." And he said, "I completely changed. Completely." He says, and I when people see that and they hear the things I said, I own up to it, and I say I'm a much better person now. And this is like, I hope it's a good example to people.
And that's how you do it, my friends.
Yep,
that's how you do it. Don't double down on your bullshit. Just be like, I was a kid. I said something stupid. I'm embarrassed. I've learned a lot since then. And move on. And that's what you do.
Yep.
Everyone in the world is so afraid to say that they were wrong or sorry. The world would be a better place if let's normalize saying we're sorry and I was wrong.
Right. Normalize owning your bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I also want to say how much I love her backup singers.
Nikki and Donna.
Yeah.
They have the patience of Job. They have to really, they're doing a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, first, they're really good. I mean, Madonna's fine as a singer. She's gotten much, much better. She's also dancing the whole time. I'm like, she must be exhausted.
She is dancing her ass off.
Ass off the whole time. So Nikki and Donna are the stronger singers by far.
Yes.
And then they have to help with the narrative, with the storytelling. Mm-hmm. And they have to help with her because she's a moody one. She's got an ego. She gets a little cranky and bossy. Yeah. Which, she is a boss.
Yeah. She's an MVP. They're MVPs of those concerts for sure. Like, and Madonna even says, I'm not the best singer. I'm not the best dancer. And she says that she's more interested in like being provocative and pushing buttons. And I think the truth is that's like one of the more truthful things she says in the movie about herself is like, that's what she really wanted to be. Like, does she really want to be a singer? Does she really want to be a dancer? Probably not. She really just likes pushing people. And I think she really wanted to be a star. And she didn't care how she did it.
Yeah. And, she's one of those people, she worked her way up to the top. Yeah. I mean, nothing was handed to her. She had to make it on her own while being somebody who was provocative. Mm-hmm. And she did it. I mean, I give her lots of props for that.
Yeah. I also want to say I love it when the backup singers are doing their impression of Belinda Carlisle.
Oh, it made me. It did. They're so shady. There's so much shade being thrown here.
They did. They threw some at Belinda Carlisle, which, by the way, I love Belinda Carlisle. So
she's awesome.
She's awesome. And I just thought their impression was funny. And there's like some Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation shade thrown in this too. But I also love Janet Jackson and Rhythm Nation. So
yeah.
I'm fine with it. So Madonna's music isn't like 100% your jam.
Right.
You just have like, do you have like any favorite or songs of hers that you like, that you're drawn to out of curiosity?
I love Music. I think that's a great album. I like that song. You know what? We're going to talk about her number one song. So maybe I'll talk more about that there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Then I will save my thoughts on that as well. Do you have a favorite number in the movie?
Causing a Commotion.
Oh,
I think that's really, really strong. I like the last segment, Keep It Together.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Great way to end this. It's a great way to end the show. I never liked Like a Virgin, so I find it like, oh, you made it slower and more ponderous. Oh, great. It's just not that would be when I'm in the bathroom. That would be my cue.
That's your bathroom song. Got it.
That's
a really good way to describe that. That's your bathroom song.
Yeah.
I actually really liked we're going to talk about favorite songs. In the movie though, one of my favorite numbers I really liked Holiday.
Yes.
And I really love that song too, but that was probably one of the only numbers in the movie where I was like, there might be some spontaneity there where they could do something that isn't like super choreographed. Maybe that's why I'm drawn to it.
Yeah, the ballads or the dirges, they're when she's doing the "Oh Father,"
Yes,
and it's with the priest and stuff. Like you said, there's no spontaneity. Like it's very. I mean, I like what she's going for, and she's really swinging for the fences, and she's really putting herself out there. It doesn't always land with me, but I totally applaud the effort, and I think these dancers are fucking amazing.
For sure,
I mean, everyone's working their ass off.
They are, and I at the time, like, I think that's what I responded so much to the music, but I also just love seeing those dancers. And they're so strong and beautiful. Exactly. Yeah. Like, they're amazing.
I admire that in musicals. Like I always find myself watching the dancers and especially in the background because they're usually badass. I mean, they just have to be precise and strong. And it's just, I love it. And the costuming.
Yeah.
Really good here.
It is. It's so good. There's a lot of it that's just so good. It's so entertaining. As someone who wishes so desperately she could dance, I am very, very impressed with these dancers. I took, before COVID, pre-pandemic, I took a dance class, and even doing the most basic choreography, I couldn't do it. It was so hard, so hard. And I just have nothing but respect for people who can dance, because I can't do it. It's hard. I'm like, there's other things I want to point out too. So we get to, she's dating Warren Beatty, which is such a weird couple.
He seems, I've heard nice things about him. And I thought he was old. I mean, he's 53.
He's 53 now. We're like, he's not that old.
He's not that old. But he's been in show business since he was like a teenager. Yeah. Right. He's been around since the 60s. Right. So I could not understand what he was getting out of it because, he doesn't want to live his life. She was living her life publicly before. She was out there. So I guess there was that much of an attraction when they filmed Dick Tracy. That terrible movie.
By the way, we did an episode on Dick Tracy, and you're welcome to go back. She is like the worst part of that movie. I'm sorry. Sorry, Madonna, but you are the worst part of Dick Tracy. And it is strange. Like, Warren Beatty in his 20s would have absolutely been like a great match for like a Madonna. But Warren Beatty in his 50s is not a match for Madonna. And it's weird because she is like living her life in front of the camera, and he's like, this is awkward. This is weird. Why do you want to do this? And what does he say? He says to her at one point, like, does anybody address this when they come in the room with all these cameras? And she's like, no.
And this is before reality TV.
Yeah. And he's like, why do you want to film this?
Right.
And she's like, and then another like truthful thing. She says, why stop now? Because she is like living her life out loud in such a public way that she's like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do this too. But he's so weirded out about it that it's very entertaining, actually. Like,
he's definitely old Hollywood.
For sure.
And he's saying, like, you have a private life and there's stuff that you keep out of the papers and you put on an act that everybody can see you, that you're a big movie star, but you have a downtime. And this is not a woman who's interested in anybody's downtime. Like, she just always wants to be center of attention. It's bizarre. Yeah. That whole thing where he's like, why would she even bother doing it if it weren't on camera?
Yeah.
That's the line, which I love. He's not wrong.
No.
And if it's not like, and I wouldn't be something I'd be into either. I'd be like, at some point, leave me the fuck alone. I gotta, but that's not who she was.
Yeah.
But this is like just before reality TV. It was a big deal to see us. She was a superstar.
Yes.
An absolute superstar sitting around a table with a bunch of her, dancers, and she's playing Truth or Dare and just being really bawdy. I don't. She would wear me down after a while. I would be like,
It would be
okay, I get it. You like
exhausting.
dick, okay?
FYI, Madonna likes dick, everybody.
Yeah, in
Like
case you didn't know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's an HR nightmare. The way she interacts with those dancers sometimes. Get in the bed with me. Take your pants off. Okay.
Yeah, but they
a
all
lot of boundaries,
and they all do
crossed.
it. They all do it
because she's Madonna.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get it. And yeah, there's a couple of famous people who want to talk about like the Coke bottle scene and where she pretends to perform oral sex and stuff like that. But to me, when I watched it this time, like I said, haven't seen it probably since the theater. Maybe I saw once or twice after that. Was the gay men are at a gay march, an AIDS walk, and half the men were just like disgusted with the super flamboyant gay men and women that were kind of putting on a show. And then half of them were like rolling their eyes like, oh my God, you need attention. What's going? It was very weird to see that bigotry within the group.
Yeah.
Which was very odd. And then it was like, but nowadays, it's all a parade. It's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was interesting. There's a couple of times where like, it was really different. Like 30 years ago, things were very different. There weren't even a lot of people at the parade. Like nowadays it's a big deal, but it was just, that whole thing was interesting. It turns out a couple of her dancers had HIV.
Yes. I read that too.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell anybody because there was a stigma to it. Yeah. And at the time, the medication that people can take now, because there's not like a cure, but there's different pills you can take to manage it. That was not a thing. And then it was basically a death sentence at the time. And yeah, a lot of prejudice at the time. I think about watching it and, I grew up in the Bay Area. I'm right outside of San Francisco. I would have been 20 when I saw this movie. I only knew I knew like 2 gay people at the time. Now I know way more gay people because I live in San Francisco proper. But at the time I knew like 2 gay people. For a lot of people, Truth or Dare was like their introduction to gay people. They didn't know gay people at all. There was no Will and Grace. There was no.
Nope.
Even Will and Grace was like an introduction to gay people for so many people.
Yeah, you're right.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, and they were making out with each other, and they were, they were teasing each other, and they were having fights with one another. There is a lot of truth going on here. Of course, there's a lot of contrived stuff. For sure. But I don't know. I liked the backstage before she snubbed Kevin Costner, who was just so awkward. And he did feel like an asshole when he saw it or heard about it. But she's walking backstage, goes, there's Mandy Patinkin, there's Al Pacino. I mean, because she just did Dick Tracy. Yeah. Like her life is filled with all these famous people. And then I did like how I always love this scene. I relate to it so much to her in some way, but she's wearing her hair with a cap. Because maybe she's dyeing her hair, she's conditioning it. Yeah. Which I used to do. Like, having it for hours. Yeah. And she's eating a big bowl of onion soup and just slopping it in her mouth and talking to her dad. Like, are you going to go? You're not going to go. And he says, well, where can you get us tickets? She's like, I can get you tickets whenever. Just give me, because I'd be my dad. Oh, that's okay, honey. Whenever you can get us some tickets, we'll come by. It made me laugh out loud when he's like, well, what night can you get us tickets for? Like, he's not talking to Madonna. Yeah, she's like, I could get you tickets any night you want. It's my show, Dad. Can just pick a date, please? Yeah. And then the stuff with her brothers, too. Yeah, I want to talk about that, too. I did read that Kevin Costner, his version of the story is like, her people asked me to come back there. And I came back there and he's like, I didn't know what to say. So I said it was neat. And I felt like such a dweeb, basically. Right. And, and then he sees the movie and she makes fun of him and he felt like a dick. And then years later, he went to her concert again and in LA. And she was like,
apologized to Kevin Costner on stage. Like, if you're out there, Kevin, I'm really sorry about what I did. And it actually really meant a lot to me that she did that.
I'm sure it did.
And I was
this
like,
is also,
yeah,
but this is also like in about 5 years or so, she starts turning into the Kabbalah.
Yeah.
And there's this new Madonna that's like, I don't have an ego. Egos are bullshit. Fame is bullshit. Call me Esther. I'm Jewish now.
Yeah.
I celebrate Purim and I do all this. Yeah, she's always kind of doing things like that.
Yeah.
And then she married Guy Ritchie and then she became British.
She had a British accent for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And she wore, like tartans and things like that. And, no blowjobs or jokes or anything like that. No truth or dare. She's
a kook.
She's a kook, and she's our modern day Liz Taylor or something. Like, she's just somebody living out loud, not always making great choices, but always looking good.
Yeah.
She's always a story.
Yeah. And also, like, girl power wasn't like a thing back then either. And I think that was something else that I was responding to at the time was Madonna didn't put up with any bullshit. Yeah. And, she's clearly with Warren Beatty. At some point along this tour, they break up because then she's like, I want to move on. I need some fun. And that's when she wants to meet Antonio Banderas. Like, she just does what she wants. And I think 20-year-old me really responded to that at the time, where I was like, I want to be in charge of my own life. I want to just do what I want. It was cool.
If you work that hard, and you made that money and you have that fame, like, why not be in charge? I mean, if I'm on stage and I'm getting fucking feedback and I can't hear myself sing, that's going to make a shit show. I'm going to get bad reviews because people think I suck anyway when it comes to performing. Like, get your ass up here and fix it.
That's like right in the first 5 minutes of the documentary.
Yeah,
and she's
and
like,
oh, she's pissy.
Yeah. What is she? She's like, Glenn, you motherfucker. Like, you better get up here and you better fix it. And then, like, it just waits a minute. And then I'm waiting. Like, she's like,
she's pissed.
She's pissed.
And any guy that did that, like, if Prince did that, they'd be like, oh, he's a boss. He's just like demanding and exact. But she does it. And then everybody thinks she's a huge bitch. It's that double standard. But I responded to that too, because I thought, and also this is the first time I see Antonio Banderas. This is my introduction to him. And good God, Beautiful doesn't cover it.
No.
It's kind of overwhelming.
He is, I think, so I had not seen any of those Pedro, how do you say his last name?
Almodovar.
Yeah, I had not seen any of those movies. It was like, maybe a couple months later, one of his movies, I think it was Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, came and played at my movie theater. And I saw that movie, and that movie is fucking weird as shit. But like, so that I was like, oh, that's the guy from Truth or Dare. Like, but when I saw Truth or Dare, I was like, who's that?
He's so
I
yummy.
get it.
Yeah. And she's funny as hell because she's like, he's married? Shit.
Yeah.
And his wife is lovely, boy. She's just very good sport, let's just say.
Such a good sport.
About the whole thing. She's probably used to it because he's a big star in Spain at the time. But all of a sudden she's like, well, who am I going to flirt with?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm with you. I get you. Like, you get all dolled up and you're feeling good and you're feeling confident. You meet the guy and then all of a sudden, hey, here's my wife or my girlfriend who's the most perfect person alive. Yeah. Like, I'm not wasting this hairdo for another minute.
He really is like, he's still handsome.
Oh, he looks great.
But back then, too, god damn.
Yeah, I'd tap that.
Who else? Oh, we're going to talk about her brothers because there is like a family. There is like a family thing going on here. So we meet her dad and
her stepmom.
And her stepmom. And yeah, she like bows down at his feet and all this stuff. Yeah, all the stuff with her on the like. What is he? He also says like, oh, you're getting racy on me. And she's like, Dad, I'm not getting racy. I've been racy. Like, just.
Yeah, that's how dads do it.
It's totally how dads do it. There's not much about the stepmom. There's this very contrived thing where she goes to her mom's grave.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's also like, it's super set up, right? It's.
Well, yeah, her brother is standing to the side, like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be here too. And he was older. He probably has a better memory of their
Yeah.
mother. And I know it's like to lose your mother, and it's
Yeah.
a tragic thing. And she was a kid when it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that does color your perspective. But yeah, rolling around in the grass by her grave.
Yeah.
Like, what does she look like now? Is she bones? What?
Yeah. It's really like, and by the way,
Performative.
I don't. Yes, exactly. I'm not saying there's not like real emotion there, or that she's very, obviously that's awful. It's just
Right.
it's so set up for the camera. She's performing for the camera. She's not having a real moment there.
No, and it's kind of like, see, I'm human and I'm damaged and I've got my stuff I'm overcoming, which is everybody on the planet of Earth. Like,
Yes.
you're not, everyone's got shit they're dealing
Yeah.
with.
There's also, they bring in like an old friend, Moira.
I love that scene, Moira. So Madonna talks about, I don't know how she didn't get sued by everybody, but
Right.
I guess she had these contracts signed, but she said, Moira was my hero. She's a couple years older than me. She was really cool. And either she finger banged her, or Madonna like got finger banged by her, or
Yeah.
it was mutual, but she's talking about finger banging.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how they would play around. And this woman's like, hi, yeah, no, I didn't do that. I don't know
No,
what you're
none of those
talking
things
about.
happen. But then actually,
I
she's
used to be high.
yeah, she's really nice about it though, because she's
Yeah,
like,
she's very gracious about it.
yeah,
but
she's like, I've done a lot of drugs in my life, so I don't remember everything. Maybe that did happen. Like,
yeah, she's just kind of like, well, she's got two little boys standing,
yeah,
playing on the floor near her. And then she gets Madonna. Madonna's sort of like hi and bye,
Yeah.
oh, nice to see you, gotta go. And the woman's like, no, wait. I'm pregnant. Could you please bless my child? Could you be her godmother? And that's like, more, you gotta
yeah,
just be glad you saw her.
yeah. Just she's trying to like force a connection there.
Right.
A little too much, but I'm all, oh, Moira.
Yeah, but I'm like, but then Madonna was spilling tea about your sexual exploration when you were kids. So yeah,
but she
make her awkward. I'm okay with you making her awkward now.
Exactly. So awkward. Speaking of awkward, so Madonna's brother Christopher works on the show as like an art director or something. And then she has her other brother. She has like a lot of other brothers and sisters. But it
was a big family.
Yeah. And then we meet Martin. And Martin is her older brother who like, I think he comes to the show, but he's got problems clearly. Like drugs, I think, alcohol.
Yeah, she mentions that he's been in rehab.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he shows up. I'm sure he went to the show, but he probably went to a party afterwards or something, and then wanted to take his party to her suite.
Yeah, and she was like,
yeah, she tells her guard, like, look, it's just a couple of people, that's fine. But if it's a lot of people, tell them no. And it's like, well, what instruction is that? Like, what's a little, what's a lot? Like, right. But she's like, okay. But then he comes by, it's way too late.
Yes.
But he's sort of like, I know who she really is.
Yeah. And maybe he does. And I went and looked up because I was like, what's up with Martin now? And it sounds like he continued to like have a lot of problems and be in and out of rehab. But at some point, she jumped in and like helped him out and like paid for rehab, and he did it. And apparently she bought him all new teeth. I don't know what happened to his teeth, but
yeah,
I was like, I'm glad that like he's okay. Basically, I was like, oh, like, because it didn't sound like he was on the right track. Let me just say.
Yeah. What about her? But what about Christopher? Are they still in touch?
So they had a big fight. So when she did her Drowned tour, she did not hire him to work on the tour, and he was really pissed at her for that. And then at some point he wrote a book, like My Life with Madonna.
Tell-all?
Yeah. And she got really pissed. She does not like that, as most celebrities don't. And but apparently at some point they also made peace. So that's good. And I think her dad is still around.
Wow, how old is he?
Yeah, he's got to be in his 80s now.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize her mother was 30 when she died.
Breast cancer.
Oh, my God.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer. And Madonna was only 5.
Yeah. That's awful.
It is. It's a lot of tragedy.
It is. But they had a really big family. There was like, God, how many of them? I forget. There's like 4 or 5 of them before 30. She had 4 or 5 kids.
That's my mom. My mom had 5 kids before she was 25.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the dad remarried, and I think they had 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the stepmom used to be their housekeeper.
Interesting.
I know. I was like, that happens so much. I feel like it's always nannies and housekeepers, right?
People that are going to take care of you.
Yeah, that's
they know
true.
The ropes.
Very, very true. Do you think this is Madonna's best movie?
Oh, by far.
Yeah. I like Desperately Seeking Susan, but
it's cute.
She's barely in that.
She's great. I mean, she's cute in that, and I love you know what I'm thinking of, the baseball movie.
Oh, League of Their Own.
Yeah, but she's not. I mean, she's fine in it.
Yeah.
But anybody could do that part. It's not like she's special. I mean, we'll talk about the song from that in a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, by far, I think this is her best movie.
Yeah, she's not a very good actress. Sorry,
No.
Madonna. She's a really good performer.
Yes.
She's not a very good actress. I don't even think I've seen all of Evita, but which
no.
So maybe I shouldn't be saying anything until I've seen Evita, but I tried to watch it. I fell asleep. Oh, sorry everybody. I'm going through my list. What else? We talked to our dad, talk about the family, talked about our favorite performances. Oh, we get to see Sandra Bernhard.
When they were friends.
That seems like such a good friendship and such a bummer that they couldn't stay friends. I like how they talk to each other.
This is my question. I think Madonna would be exhausting to be friends with.
Yeah.
I think it's all about her. And I think that's what you have. That's like the deal if you're going to be friends with her. And I think it's called appropriation now.
Right.
But for years, what she did was she just took things like she dressed like Marilyn Monroe. She's dressed like a geisha. She dressed like Marlene Dietrich. She did Vogue, which was a thing for a whole other class of people,
yes.
A different type of people. She also brought things out to the forefront. Nobody heard of Vogue before she had the song. I mean, and that's a good thing. I mean, it got more people into it. But anyway, I think she's just always taking ideas. I think after a while you'd be like, oh, she's just going to take my jokes and she's just going to get what she wants from me. And then if I'm not always available, she's just going to dump me and then have another friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. I love seeing Sandra Bernhard, though. And I love Oliver talking about her. And he's like, she's kind of sexy. Like, she looks like maybe she'd take some ropes out. And and I'm like, she probably would.
Yeah, why not?
He's not wrong. And of course, there's the famous scene where they play Truth or Dare, and there's a whole thing with a glass bottle. I'm like, that's something.
Yeah.
But of course, the big moment is someone asks her, "Who's the love of your life?" And she says, "Sean," which is Sean Penn.
Yeah, and that was a really turbulent relationship. The Poison Pens.
What's the Poison Pens?
The Poison Pens was their nickname because they were constantly being written about in the press. And Sean Penn, who married one of the most famous people in the world, and then was shocked that he was now being tailed by photographers and gossip people. And he was in jail a couple of times for beating up photographers.
Yes.
And there is a whole story about he supposedly kept her captive in his home one night, and she escaped. And then soon after that, they were, like a lot of things. Like they broke up and they got back together. Yeah. They tried to make it work. I was surprised how long they were married. I think it was like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, when she says that, she's really speaking from her heart right there. She really did love him.
I read that was one of the things in the movie that she really wanted to cut. And the director was like, no. Yeah. So good on that director for standing his ground, because there's a few moments in this that are real, and that's, I think, one of those real moments.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of real moments, I read something that I thought was really cool. So this is a Miramax movie, but Madonna funded it. She paid for this movie herself, and they did a screening, and Harvey Weinstein was there. Did you read this?
Oh, yes.
And he had all these ideas of what he thought the movie should be, and he offered it up. And that Madonna said, and I wrote it down here, she said, I put up the money for this movie. I don't care what your point of view is. I never want to hear it. Who the hell are you to tell me what kind of film I should be doing? This is mine and Alex. Shut up. I don't want to ever hear another one of your ideas about it. And he like just crumpled up and like...
And walked away.
Yeah. And that another time he tried to kiss her and she pushed him away and she said, get away from me. You smell like a fucking ashtray.
You know, I like that.
Yeah. She was way more powerful than Harvey. Like, so she was like, fuck off.
It's her money. She's absolutely right. It's her money and it's her show. He would learn from that and then become a tyrant and, you know, make sure that they had a stake in everything.
Yeah. He's such a fucking creep.
He's really bad.
Listen to our episode about Harvey Weinstein.
On What a Creep podcast.
What a Creep.
Yeah.
He fucking sucks. My sister is listening to Catch and Kill right now.
Oh, that's the best book.
It's so good. And so she just got to the part where they played the audio of Harvey Weinstein. And she's like, what the fuck? And I was like, right? I know. Fuck him. Anyway, what else should we say about Truth or Dare? Do you have anything else we should? I'm going through my notes.
So the dancers sued. 3 of the dancers sued because it said it was breaking their contract. And they were talking about how Madonna had to go to the deposition and she wouldn't look at them. That, you know, because those things are really rough.
Yeah.
But that they did eventually make peace with one another.
That's
so
good.
Hopefully that's what happened. But
I mean, the truth is, like, these dancers were probably paid for the tour, but were they paid for being in this movie?
This was the #1 documentary of all time until the crazy 9/11 documentary started coming out.
Right.
But it made a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And with the rentals and the people who own it, I mean, yeah, they should get money for that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If I show my dick on camera.
Oh.
Right? Max is on our side.
You have upset my dog. Oh my gosh. Maybe we want to cut that part out.
No, keep it in.
I am so sorry.
It's perfectly timed.
That's what you get for talking about your dick, Margo. Look what you've done. Do you want to hear about some other movies that were released in 1991?
Yes, please.
Okay. We've done several 1991 movies, so I had to dig a little deeper. JFK.
I love JFK. I'd love to talk about that sometime.
We absolutely should. That movie is ambitious. And like, we both picked very interesting words there. Bugsy came out in 1991 with Warren Beatty.
And Annette Bening. They got married.
That's right. They're still married, right?
They're still married.
Yeah. I thought Bugsy was all right.
I thought it was boring.
I don't think we'll be doing that one anytime soon. Hook.
Terrible.
It's so bad.
If you're really young when this movie came out, you love it.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that. But it's a really tough slog, that movie. It's really tough.
Yeah. I know younger people super love it. My Girl.
Sad.
So sad. That movie played at my theater. People would sob in that movie. Like,
yeah.
Because it was fucked up. That movie's messed up. Cool as Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That movie's stupid.
We should do that movie sometime. Maybe that's punching down. I don't know.
I really don't want to put a couple hours into that.
Yeah. The Super.
Okay, The Super. It's shitty, but I kind of love it.
Joe,
and I don't know why. It's Joe Pesci.
yeah, he plays a slumlord who's forced to live in one of his own
One of his
buildings.
buildings,
Yeah.
and then he becomes a nicer person, and they have house parties, and they play "You Can't Touch This," and there's a little black kid that becomes his sidekick, and it's in a building that within a few years is worth millions.
Of course.
It's like New York City just before it gentrified again.
Yeah.
It's dumb, but I kind of enjoy it.
It's totally a TBS movie.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. It's a TBS.
Yeah.
You're up. You can't really fall asleep yet kind of movie.
Exactly. This came up on Dorking Out, or came up on What a Creep this week. Mobsters.
Yes. That, oh my God. Those were like the 4 hottest guys.
Yeah. It was like Patrick Dempsey, Christian Slater, Richard Grieco. Who's the other one?
Christian Slater, Patrick Dempsey.
I'm going to look it up. Mobsters, 1990.
Yeah. Richard Grieco, who's a big hit because he was on Booker. Was that the show?
He started on 21 Jump Street.
Right. And he had those amazing cheekbones.
Yeah.
But he couldn't act.
The other one is Costas Mandalore.
Mandalore.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I definitely saw that movie. Another body switching movie, Switch.
Is that
Ellen
Barkin?
Yeah, Ellen Barkin. I almost said Ellen Burstyn.
Ellen Birkin?
Ellen Barkin. Yeah.
Barkin. Yeah, that's a weird movie. It's a Blake Edwards, I think.
Yeah.
It could be so much funnier, but it's not.
Yeah. La Femme Nikita.
Is that the French?
Yeah, the French one. That's really, a good one. That's a really good one. And then I might have listed this one before, but I super love it. LA Story.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I love that movie with Steve Martin. It's on our list.
Yeah. So we've done 1991 a few times, so I wanted to do something different. And I looked up on Billboard, and I have a list of all of Madonna's number 1 songs.
Oh my God, there must be so many. Okay.
There's a few.
Mm-hmm.
And in no particular order, Take a Bow, which I love that song.
Yeah, that's a good song.
That's a really good song. Vogue.
Mm-hmm.
Music, good song.
Good song.
Crazy for You, that was number 1.
I love that song.
So did I. This Used to Be My Playground.
That song hits me in a soft spot.
It gives you the fee-fees.
Yeah, it does.
Like a Virgin.
I know you don't like it, but I like it.
Live to Tell.
That's a good song too.
Open Your Heart.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. It's one that I think other people like a lot more than me. It's
fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Papa Don't Preach.
I like the video more than the song.
Yeah, the song is dumb. Do you remember there's a video, it was a counter to this, and it was a priest?
Yes.
And he's like, Madonna, don't preach. Like, girls are going to get pregnant because of her.
Yeah. I'm like, you should be listening to the words, but that's fine.
Yeah. Like a Prayer, probably her best song.
I love Like a Prayer. That's one of my faves.
Oh, love it. This is where she gets a little cheesy for me. Justify My Love.
Okay.
That's just trying to be like Donna Summer. Love to Love You, Baby. Like that was her. She released a video. Remember that?
Yes. My favorite thing about
in it.
My favorite thing about Justify My Love was the spoof she did with Wayne and Garth.
That was great. And by the way, in Truth or Dare, like she says way too many times, not.
There's in the spoof, she's like making out with Wayne, and then you see like kind of a shadow of someone dancing, and she's like, "Look at the unit on that guy," and it turns out to be Garth.
I love that scene because also when she's making out with Mike Myers looks terrified.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely cause she can eat him alive because she's so sexual.
I know.
And the last one.
Yeah.
Who's That Girl?
I don't like that song at all.
No, it's terrible. That's a number 1.
So Express Yourself was never number 1. Huh.
No, I mean, some of them were like number 2.
Yeah.
Number 3, but I was just doing the number 1s. Just
Express Yourself is one of my favorite Madonna songs.
It's a good song.
Yeah. I like it even more right now because everything in my life is crazy.
It's a good message.
You know what I forgot to ask you before we move on to what else we're dorking out about? Do you have a favorite concert movie?
Yeah, Stop Making Sense.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And then there's the one with the band. The last what the fuck? It's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know why.
I'm gonna look
the
it up.
last something or other. That's a really good one, and I love the band. And I've seen this movie
it's not called The Last Dance, is it? No.
No, it's
concert.
Look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. I love Stop Making Sense too. The Last Waltz.
The Last Waltz. God damn it, my brain. Yeah, because I love the band, and I like that watching a coked up Robbie Robertson talking to a coked up Martin Scorsese, and all these musicians come on stage, and it's great music.
Yeah.
It's but Stop Making Sense. What I love about it is because I do love the Talking Heads.
Me too.
And I love their albums. I had their albums and CDs or wherever, but they reimagined all those songs for a live performance, and they did something different with all of them. And sometimes it's a different beat or it's an emphasis on a different part of the song, but they just reimagine them in the most amazing way.
This Must Be the Place is one of my all-time favorite songs. And
I mean, once in a lifetime.
So good.
The live version of that song, I could listen to that on a fucking loop.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
So if you haven't seen that one, you should see it. It's amazing. Yes. It's directed by Jonathan Demme. I also really love his American Utopia, which is on Disney Plus, or it's on HBO Max right now. It's so good. And if you're looking for a concert film that's hilarious, you could watch Never Stop, Never Stopping with Andy Samberg. That shit makes me laugh really hard.
I haven't seen that in a while. I should watch that again. That's a good one.
And there's also Fear of the Black Hat, which is
Fear of the Black Hat was hilarious. It's a spoof on
like
Public Enemy?
Yeah, Public Enemy and like NWA.
Yeah.
Both of those are really, really funny.
Yeah.
What else are you dorking out about, Margo?
I just got an audiobook that I'm loving, and it's from actor-director Seth Rogen.
Oh, okay.
And the book is called Yearbook, and he's just basically doing his life story and then funny essays. But he has all of his comedian friends helping him tell his stories, and he just comes across as the nicest guy. And
that makes me happy.
He completely adores his wife, and he has great friends, and he's super loyal to his friends. And he has these great stories about meetings with people, and had a meeting once. He and his writing partner had an meeting with Steven Spielberg. And they were super nervous to meet him. And of course, like who wouldn't be?
Yeah. They
go to his office, and then they said, George Lucas just came in. And this is like, oh my God, my childhood is just, and then he realized that George Lucas didn't know who the fuck he was, never heard of Freaks or Geeks. This is like had no idea who Seth Rogen was, had no idea of these reference points. And Seth then looks at him and realizes the man is wearing a denim shirt and denim jeans at the same time.
Isn't that called a Canadian tuxedo?
And then he makes a point of that. Like, no, it's not a Canadian tuxedo. We have our own tuxedos. He's so funny. He's super funny, but he has a story about Nicolas Cage. Like, I'm doing my power walk on Saturdays. I had to stop and laugh because it was cracking me up. Nicolas Cage is just an eccentric, let's just say.
Yes.
He has all kinds of meetings, but he's spilling the tea, and he's telling the tales of these people, but he's also just talking about himself. He started at 13 years old. He started as a stand-up comic.
That's like crazy.
It's crazy. And then when he was 16, he dropped out of school. He lived in Canada. He dropped out of school to do Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah. And wasn't he hired? Yeah. Wasn't he hired as a writer for Freaks and Geeks? And then they started using him as an actor or something. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then he wrote for Ali G. And they have Sacha Baron Cohen on this.
Oh my gosh.
And he had Sacha Baron Cohen had a show called Ali G, and they had segments where they were interview people, And I love Sacha Baron Cohen. And they said, oh, one of his characters should go to spring break in Florida and just interview these idiot kids, when they're drunk. And Sacha Baron Cohen was like, what's spring break? And then, so he had explained to him, because he had this all British staff.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. And so that's that's a whole segment of there. It's really funny. He's such a mensch. He just seems like such a nice person, a genuine nice person.
It sounds like the audiobook is key here.
I think it's I think it's fine to read it.
Right.
But when I heard like Paul Scheer's on there, and there's Sacha Baron Cohen, his wife is on there. There's all kinds of people on there, and because he's friends with all these really great comedians, and so they're helping tell his story, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah. All right. I should download it then, because I would like that. Yearbook. Yeah. All right. I'm writing it down. So I'm dorking out about a couple of things, and it turns out both of these things have something in common. So I'm actually really dorking out about Jean Smart.
Oh, love her.
Jean Smart is a national treasure. That's what I'm saying right now. From now on, she is national treasure Jean Smart. Who else do we have on that list? Holland Taylor, Jean Smart,
Andre Braugher.
So I'm watching Mayor of Easttown, which is 100% one of those dead girl shows, dead girl small town shows. I realize that. I still like it because I think Kate Winslet's really, really amazing in it, and I guess I just like dead girl small town shows. But Jean Smart is in it as like her mother, and there's just these like really small scenes with her and Kate Winslet and their relationship. But one of the things that's cracking me up is Jean Smart is like babysitting a lot, and they'll show her like sitting on the couch, like watching an iPad and drinking a cocktail. And I was like, shit, that's me. I'm already doing that. Like she's playing like fucking Fruit Ninja on the iPad, like drinking a cocktail. Like, and Jean Smart brings it always. Yes. And she's always good. Like her season of Fargo is the shit.
The best.
And
it's yes.
She did like a season or two of 24 back when I used to watch 24. She was fucking dope on that show too. She is someone who's always awesome. And I just watched the first 2 episodes of Hacks.
Isn't it great?
And it's so good.
Yeah.
And once again, I feel like such a fucking whore for HBO Max, but it's on HBO Max. It's the same people who did Parks and Rec and Broad City, both things I super love. And Jean Smart is like a Joan Rivers type comedian in Vegas. And she's so good in the show. I really love her. And they pair her up with a like struggling comedy writer named Ava. And it's a woman named Hannah Enbender. And I do not recognize her at all.
Me neither.
But I think she's really good too. And I like their relationship. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. I think it's really hard to do shows about comedy because like, think about like, oh God, what was the Aaron Sorkin one? 66 Sunset Strip or whatever. What was that show? Studio something.
Yeah.
The sketches on the show were so stupid. You're like, so you were like, nobody would watch this show. It's really dumb. So when you watch a show like 30 Rock, that was the joke, right? Was that that the jokes were so stupid. That was the joke. But like on whatever the fuck that show is called, it was just lame. I think the jokes and Hacks are funny when they're supposed to be funny, and they sound tired and typical when they're supposed to. And I think that's actually really hard to do.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
And I just really liked it. And it's got Christopher McDonald as like this like guy who owns a casino. And Christopher McDonald to me is always Goose from Grease 2, or he's like Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. But
yes,
he's always such a fucking prick. He's such a prick. Oh, he's going to be in Thelma and Louise next week.
I was just going to say that.
He's so good at playing a prick. But it's really good, and I just love Jean Smart so much, and I'm glad that she's like getting her moment, and I assume she's going to start winning like every award. Like
she should be, if there's any justice in the universe.
Yeah, she's having a moment for sure. I mean, and if you want, you could go back and watch Designing Women. She was great on that too. She's
always good. She always delivers. She's always funny. I don't know how you can be that talented to be a human. Her season of Fargo is just, it's a masterclass.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I didn't watch the most recent season.
It wasn't great. It had some really good people and Chris Rock. Oops.
That's hilarious. Okay. Well, then maybe I won't jump right in then. I'll just hold off. This was super fun. Where can people find you on the internet, Margo?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fitchick for Twitter and Instagram, and my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And if you like the sound of our voices, and I'm sure you do, you can also listen to us at What a Creep, where we talk about creeps, and then we end every episode with someone who's not a creep, and there's a private Facebook group. A lot of our Dork fans like to go there too, so you go to Facebook, type in What a Creep Podcast, ask to join, and if you don't look like a total asshole, we will let you in. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and sometimes TikTok. And Dorking Out, if you really like us, email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. We'll send you some stickers. They're really, really cute. And give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us offset the 1-star reviews from people who go, I don't like their laugh. Man, I don't like it when they talk about movies that I like and they don't like them. It's like, it's free. Just find another show. It's fine. Anyway.
Yeah. No ads, nothing.
Yeah, come on.
Give us a fucking break.
Yeah, give us a fucking break. I almost called you Madonna. Madonna, thanks for joining us. Not. Margo, thanks for talking about Truth or Dare with me.